Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course you good old boys in Africa. You know we love the Big C tribe. We love you in Canada. But Big C, there's no one we love more than you good old boys down south in the land of the free, in the home of the brave and the beautiful. April 6, 2018, Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Well, Charlton, I had a decent day. I just flew here into Atlanta, got a few little rain showers. I'm going to try to matriculate my way down to Augusta and
Yeah.
hopefully, sniff some azaleas while I'm down there and have a mint julep or two or three. Because I'm not driving, I got a driver. He's going to take me down there.
Yep.
And I'm going to sit at Amen's Corner.
Amen. You can go down there and pray. And did you take that makeup bag, Big C, so they don't ask you too many questions at check-in, Big C? Just making sure.
Well, I had left the bag in town the last time I was at someplace. I don't remember where it was. So if not, I think they got a Walmart somewhere I can stop into.
Yeah, I figured out, in the world of television, a lot of good old boys use makeup. And I'm starting to think that some of my other brethren have figured it out. Some of my white brethren that get accepted without even checking their ID, they just use a lot of makeup. They might be black guys down south, I hear that's common, but they wear white makeup so they don't get questioned. Big C, have you tried that yourself, Big C?
Well, Charlton, I'm a little tentative about putting on a base and a foundation. It's hard to cover a beard.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's a lot of build-up to get all that covered up. So I'm just going to go natural this time.
Yeah, I understand going natural. It's all good in love and war. I do want to say today's segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. So, Big C, I know Cadillac's more for the people out here on the West Coast. I know they drive them all over the country. There was a time when Cadillac was sponsoring a lot of the golf tournaments, and they had one that Trump was a part of, but they pulled out when he started talking about building the wall. Is Cadillac as popular in the South, or do them good old boys still roll around in those pickup trucks, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I've seen a plethora of everything down here. I mean, I'm amazed at how integrated technology-wise, auto-wise people are.
Yeah.
They drive a little bit of everything. There is a number of pickups on the trucks on the road still.
Yeah.
So I guess everyone hasn't upgraded to the SUVs and all the sedans, but I guess they still have a lot of farmers down here, and they still got to haul some hay periodically.
Yeah, well, have you heard of this town? Atlanta's the busiest airport in the world, I believe, Big C. And
there were a lot of people there today.
A lot of people flying in. I hear a lot of people got out. It was really cold there, too. And I wonder if that's going to affect the golf tournament. I know you're making your way in, but for the weekend, I think the weather people were saying that it might be a little bit windy down there with them good old boys down there at Amen's Corner. Have you found out more about the weather, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, the plane was rocking a little bit. Like I said, they got some sprinkles going on here right now, so I'm assuming that it's going to continue moving eastward, which Augusta is a little eastward of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, probably in the morning, the fairways and greens may be a little bit wet.
Yeah.
But they expect for it to blow through, Charlton, and warm up as the day goes on. So hopefully those morning showers may slow down some of the greens, but not affect the golf in any kind of way.
Yeah, well, that's always good. I know yesterday, Jordan Spieth, he must have been really dipping that moonshine because he played so relaxed. I mean, he was so relaxed he had the lead yesterday at Big C going into today. But today, he let go of the lead. And, golf is it's a tough sport. And I love seeing the young guys do well. But my heart was set on seeing Tiger and Phil be the ones that carried at least in the top 5 going into Saturday. And then in Sunday, if Tiger and Phil could have been around the top 2 or 3, it just makes for great golf. But that hasn't happened. What happened with Spieth? He had birdied at a time. I think he had birdied 5 in a row yesterday, and then today he started out with a lot of bogeys in the front, Was it nerves? Was it the weather? Or was it just the way that things are with a young golfer? They haven't really learned to play the whole course. Big C, your thoughts?
You know, I don't think it would be nerves with speed because he has won the Masters before, Charlton.
Yeah.
So he's very accustomed to this course. It's the toughest course to play on, Charlton. They make so many adjustments daily.
Yeah.
If your ball is off by a couple feet sometimes, especially in landing,
yeah,
and it rolls back off of a green, that's a stroke right there you've lost automatically. And we've seen that with all the golfers. You
yeah.
get on the wrong side of the cup, and that ball goes to next week.
Yeah.
And so you got to figure out how to recover from that.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem with everybody who has struggled. You know, I saw Sergio Garcia yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, hit a sandman on a hole.
Yeah.
You know, he put the ball up on the green 3 times and it rolled back in the water.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we're talking one of the world's greatest golfers who's won a tournament already this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, has won the Masters before, but you know, Augusta is its own horse.
Yeah.
You know, it challenges everybody. You know, like you even look at Tiger.
Yeah.
Tiger's ego is what Augusta's challenging more than anything else.
Yeah.
Not his skills, his ego. Because he feels that he has to keep up with the younger golfers.
Yeah.
He has to drive the ball just as far as he did a decade ago, which is not going to happen any longer.
Right.
We're talking a guy who's had multiple surgeries, back, knee, you know, so he's not the man physically that he once was, and every athlete can attest to that.
Yeah.
But the ego, when you walk out there and you got the roar of the crowds and you know these people are there for you,
yeah,
has him doing things that he shouldn't try to do, Charlton.
Yeah.
And that's where his game suffers. You know, if he had a caddy that was worth his salt,
yeah,
you know, that said, look, Tiger, let's not be foolish here.
Yeah.
Let's just put the ball in the fairway.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're not going to outdrive anybody. You
Right.
used to. He needs somebody to talk to him in that nature. You know, not to go out there and say, you the man.
Yeah.
You know, he used to be the man.
Yeah.
But if he can get somebody to conjoin him to say, hey, let's play a game of attrition here.
Yeah.
Let's slowly move the caravan. Let's take it bit by bit, not try to get it all at once.
Yeah.
It's like that old bull and young bull scenario where they were sitting up on the hill and the cows were down in the meadows grazing. and the young bull said, you know, hey, all them cows down there, let's run down there and have a little fun.
Exactly.
With all of them. You know, and the young bull said, no, let's just walk down there and take our time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny. I've heard that story told so many times. I never knew that a bull could talk, but I never dreamt a lot of that moonshine you guys get on when you guys are finding out the bull story. I do think that's incredible. I do want to say that for Tiger Woods and all the hype that went into the Masters going into it, and of course it's not over, but it would have to be kind of be a meteoric finish in order for him to even finish, say, in the top 3. You know, yesterday he had shot 73, finished 4 over today, had a total 75. And if you think about how many bogeys he had today, he bogeyed on the 4th, on the 5th, also the 11th, the 12th. He also bogeyed on the backside. So I think about Tiger. It just seems like, I know it's a process, right? And I even look at Phil. I'm surprised that both guys struggled so much, even though making the cut's good.
Yeah, but when you talk about process, Charlton, that's having the proper people around you.
Yeah.
You know, we look at Mike Tyson's career, how it went downhill.
Yeah.
When he lost to Buster Douglas, because he didn't have the proper people around him.
Yeah.
You know, he had some friends, some people who would pat him on the back, say yes.
Yeah.
You don't need yes people when you're struggling.
Yeah.
You know, that's the worst thing. You know, it's like someone going in a shop that's overweight,
yeah,
and seeing a mannequin in the store and thinking they're going to look as good as a mannequin if they buy the same outfit the mannequin has on.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
So what you need to do is to have some people around you that don't care about you.
Yeah.
But care about your game.
Yeah.
That care about the game getting better. The fans are on the other side of the rope. You can't have a fan carrying your bag when you're playing professional golf.
No, you can't.
He has to be objective.
Yeah.
And be objective, very strongly objective about what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And not just saying, hey, here's a 2, here's a sand wedge.
Yeah.
No, that's not what he does. He needs to instruct you.
Yeah. I tell you what, I wonder about that, and I know there's a lot of pressure on any person being an athlete, and that takes us to Reed. Reed's in first place and been shooting great golf. Leishman's shooting well, Stinson, McIlroy finished. Today had a good round, but I just look at what happened to whether it's Tiger and Phil, and I know the media wants to build it up, but these young players, give them credit too, because they've been playing the way that you should play if you're going to win. But when you talk about Tiger and you talk about even a guy like Spieth, how does Spieth finish as a much better golfer than Tiger when he doesn't have the same experience? And I just wonder what it's going to take. I mean, it's going to take a couple of tournaments. I know Tiger will probably win another major this year. It's not going to be the Masters, though. It would take a miraculous finish. But what he has done has already accomplished for television networks what even he hasn't accomplished on his own, Big C. There's more money and more interest around this event. And even though the Masters is a tradition like none other, the fact that he played so well coming up to it, and even them good old boys down in Las Vegas was saying, put your money on Tiger. And I'm glad I didn't listen to my guy, even though I want to see Tiger win. He said, Charlton, you got to put some money on this guy. And I said, I think he's going to win, but it all depends on how well the other golfers play too. And so maybe Tiger bought into some of that hype too. And then there's my conspiracy guys. You know that guy that always has a conspiracy? He says, there's no way they're going to let him break Jack's record while Jack's still around. I said, that's not true. But do you think there's any merit to that type of thinking? Also, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it would be different if it was a team sport.
Yeah.
This is an individual. This is an individual that is not doing the things as well as he once did, Charlton.
Mm-hmm.
The time has changed and altered the way that he can play.
Yeah.
But he has not recognized time. As an athlete, you got to respect time.
Yeah.
That's the one opponent you're not going to defeat.
Yeah.
So to keep thinking that you have the same athletic paralysis that you once had.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what sport it is.
Yeah.
Who did you see in the latter part of their career have better numbers than they did in the first part, other than Big Papi that played with the Boston Red Sox?
Yeah.
He's the only guy to do what he did, over 40.
Yeah.
But, when we look at these other athletes, I mean, even Brady, people talk about his performance at 40 years of age.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be a steep cliff for Tom Brady over the next couple of years. They keep adding players to keep his ability up.
Yeah.
But if he was playing with the same players over time, you would see where they go. You look at Terry Bradshaw after he won 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
When the Steelers had an opportunity to draft Dan Marino in '83 and pass because Bradshaw talked him out of it.
Yeah.
4 games into the season, he has a tendon off his elbow. He can no longer throw any longer.
Yeah.
So, when you think about that, Joe Montana left the 49ers.
Yeah.
After a great run. They said, well, you're not playing as well as you once did. Steve Young is younger.
Yeah.
And we got to put him in the lineup.
Yeah.
We've seen this throughout time. Michael Jordan fought back time as long as he could.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden he was gone. He went to the Washington Wizards.
Yep.
He wasn't Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls.
No.
Even Kareem in the last couple of years of his career, where his numbers had plummeted, where he was a 30-point career scorer, and he was struggling to score 20 a night.
Yeah.
And yet he had a shot that nobody could block.
Yeah.
But he also deferred to other players. We see that with players.
Yeah.
Karl Malone, second all-time leading scorer. Utah knew that his career was no longer what it was. They let him go to the Lakers.
Yep.
And he struggled to even get into double digits with the Lakers. So when you're sitting here looking at an individual sport, you think about tennis, golf.
Yep.
John McEnroe knew it was time to go. Beyond Board knew it was time to go because they no longer could compete.
Yeah.
You talk about Jack. Jack knew it was time to walk away because age took away his game.
Yeah.
And even Tiger, as much as he's beloved, and we keep holding on to that fantasy that Tiger is back. Tiger's back on the tour.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods is playing golf.
Yeah.
Tiger won't come back, okay?
Well, I tell you what, there's always progress to be made by the younger guys too. And I want to bring it to McIlroy because I think it was Jack was talking about his grandson out there playing And, for the first on the Wednesday when they were out there having the tea and people were having a good time. But I look at McIlroy also. We know he's been a guy that we thought would take off faster than he has. McIlroy obviously he's in great shape. He's not like one of the out-of-shape golfers, a lot like Tiger. They both are well-conditioned. And I look at what McIlroy did, and his game was good today too. He's been shooting up the golf course, and he has a good driver. And if you think about what he's done, a 69 the other day, and then today 71. Is he a favorite? I know he's not. He's still not the crowd favorite, though. I know if you look at Tiger and you look at Phil, McIlroy is a good name, but there's Johnson and there's Spieth. How come McIlroy hasn't been? I know he's not a Native American. He's not, native-born American citizen, but he's had a solid game, Big C, and he plays good golf. But he doesn't move the needle when he's golfing. Is there a reason for that? Is it because he's not? He's not an American. Would that make any sense, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, being of Irish descent, Charlton, and U.S. is where he plays, but he's still Irish.
Yeah.
You don't have that total fanfare here.
Yeah.
And he hasn't lived up to all the expectations that his career was once pronounced to be, Charlton.
No.
I mean, physically, he's one of the most dominant physical specimens on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
He can hit the ball as far as anyone. I mean, the last summer they played, his longest drive was 353 yards.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal shot.
Yeah.
But the consistency that he has not possessed in his career, and his career is starting to get older.
Yeah.
He's not getting younger. He's been on the tour for several years now, up at the top. But he hasn't stayed at the top. And, it's hard to figure out why you don't have a dominant golfer in golf any longer, Charlton.
Yeah.
I guess because of the socialness that everyone deals in now.
Yeah.
Golfers used to be recluse.
Yeah.
No one knew who they were other than when they were playing.
Yeah.
But everybody now has this social structure that they try to build. They try to be out. They try to get to many events beyond just the golf course. So I think that's one of the reasons why we struggle to have a guy who is just about golf.
Yeah.
Tiger used to just play the majors, the big money events.
Yeah.
And he would only go out, a dozen times a year.
Yeah.
Because he knew he could win at least a quarter of those.
Yeah.
And that's all he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so guys got in the mode of Tiger, well, I don't want to play this match. It's hard to find a golfer playing every other week now on the tour.
Yeah.
They might play once a month, once every 6 weeks. That's it. And so it's hard to develop that following when the fans don't see you all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, who's going to be here? They got to look at the press guide to see who's playing this week.
That's true. I want to take you to consider the best golfer, at least ranking-wise, and Dustin Johnson. We know last year he missed it. I guess he had fallen down some stairs. He wasn't used to those libations. You good old boys served him up last year, Big C. But this year he brought his own Gatorade, if that makes any sense. And he's actually playing some pretty decent golf. I know he's not in the lead right now, but he shot a 73 yesterday. Comes back today with a 68. And for someone who yesterday had, he wasn't the talk of the town like he was going into it because Spieth kind of set everybody on fire and they thought he would run away with it. So that gives everybody hope. Just because you're in the lead today doesn't mean you're going to hold it for the next 2 days, which gives a lot of golfers hope if they're right around par for the course so far. But give me your thoughts on Dustin Johnson. And he's a guy he's a tall guy. He can drive the ball long, but even he hasn't been that runaway favorite that people thought it would be, even though he's considered the number one ranked golfer in the world right now. What's going on in his mind? Why is he not at the top of the leaderboards, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, you would think that, just even from a personal perspective, who he has as a father-in-law.
Yeah.
So someone who could teach him how to stay focused all the time, and that's the great Wayne Gretzky of the NHL. To have him around on a regular basis, even play golf with him, to pick his mind.
Yeah.
What made you stay on top of the world in golf for 2 decades?
Yeah.
That's the type of mentorship that, athletes miss these days because everybody is, I got it figured out.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Right.
It's hard to listen to an elder statesman who is trying to help you, make your game better.
Yeah.
And that's regardless of whatever sport. I mean, you see the egos nowadays in the young players and golfers. It's just not that steadiness, and the media doesn't help it either.
Yeah.
The media is always touting individuals over other individuals.
Yeah.
Not speaking about how consistent someone's game is, where, you pick a guy and that's the guy that you want to ride and promote for an event.
Yeah.
It's just like going into the Masters. Here's Vegas touting Tiger.
Yeah.
He had won a tournament, in 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
But, Vegas had him as a favorite. But they know how to get their money also.
I was just going to say, Vegas doesn't make money by telling you what's going to win, Big C. Is that your thoughts?
But when you look at somebody, you got Dustin Johnson, Dustin Thomas.
Yeah.
That's who you wanted to put your money on going into the tournament.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Masters is every year, I was liking Bubba Watson coming in as well as Phil.
Yeah, I like them too.
I like the two lefties coming into this tournament because they've won recently. And so, it's fickle. The thing is about the biorhythms of the body when you get into golf.
Yeah.
You got to be in sync. You got to be in that groove.
Yeah.
And you get out of it one day, the tournament is over for you.
Yeah.
You don't have time to recover. One bad round in the Masters, you're out of it.
Yeah.
This is not 4 out of 7 in the NBA or Major League Baseball in a championship run.
Yeah.
You got 4 rounds, and you need at least 3 real solid and 1 good one.
Yeah.
To win this thing.
Well, speaking of needing something good, there's a good old boy out there on the prowl. And I know when you look at him, Patrick Reed, he's not a sexy name. He's not a sexy person. He's not a ladies' man. He doesn't have that physique or that chisel. Kind of a baby face, like a guy that when he gets done, he goes and gets a hamburger as opposed to going and getting some of that seaweed that you good old boys eat down south, Big C. Seaweed and moonshine kind of keep you slim from what I understand. But I'll tell you what.
Good roughage,
it's good roughage, too. But that good old boy yesterday shot a 69, came out today and shot a 66. And when you think about that, nobody, he's played decent over the past. But when you look at Tiger, the guy, the prodigal son of golf, whether people love him or hate him, TV loves him. And I always pull for Tiger. And because he's been doing it for so long, and the story of his father and the media turned against him for trying to behave like Trump and a lot of them good old boys. And I look at Patrick Reed, has been so consistent. He's unassuming, seems to be unflappable, but I don't even know if he has the moxie to hold the lead to get a green jacket because, like you said, they changed its course. The weather's going to be a little bit more choppy yesterday, and it's going to be about the guy with the nerves that doesn't make mistakes like Tiger has been doing coming down the stretch. Just your thoughts on Patrick Reed. Will this be too much for him as he goes into the weekend and the final 2 days, Big C? Your thoughts?
Reed has spent the past couple of years ranked in the top 10 in the world, Charlton. So I don't think the stage is too big for him. The guy who can get on Saturday and play that solid round, if you got the lead on Saturday, you can win this tournament.
Yeah.
You don't want to be 4 or 5 shots out going into Sunday.
Yeah.
But if you're right there within 1 or 2 shots of the lead, you can win this tournament. But if you're leading it, there's no reason why with the weather changing tomorrow.
Yeah.
As long as you have that solid round of golf tomorrow, Charlton, it's your tournament to be had.
Yeah.
It's always Augusta where the nerves come in.
Yeah.
When you know that you're on golf's grandest stage,
yeah,
everybody, gets that little churning in their stomach. Space to get a little tight.
Yeah.
And so, it makes you a little uncomfortable at times.
Hold on, Big C. Did you say that churning in your stomach makes you uncomfortable? Or something else you said gets tight? Which one is that, Big C? I didn't know if I caught you.
A little sphinx to get
okay.
So, athletes know how that is. It's like, you're walking down and you feel like you got a wedgie, and you're sitting out there in front of hundreds of people. It's hard to dislodge it.
Yeah.
So,
I understand.
That's the thing that you have to keep under control.
Yeah. I love you Southern boys and the way you guys expound your words and how you paint the picture. So now I know what my sphincter looks like when I get a little nervous, Big C. Is that what you're saying? So we know that golf is always great. And what I love about some of the golfers, too, there's a commercial that I saw. And one of my favorite guys, he looks so young, and that's none other than Fowler, Ricky Fowler. And I look at what he's done. I think there was a commercial made, and someone was asking, it was an insurance commercial. And they asked the question, well, what happened to the patch of grass that somebody took? And he said, well, let me find out for you. And he knocked on the door, and Ricky Fowler said, how can I help you? He said, have you noticed any patches of grass? He said, no. And he closed the door, and he was actually swinging the golf club, doing this chip in Big C. I guess he stole somebody's grass. That make any sense, Big C?
Well, you know, Ricky's game one of those has been totally inconsistent. I mean, everyone is always expected for him to arrive.
Yeah.
You know, he's always in contention.
Yeah.
But he's just not finishing.
Yeah.
And that's the major thing about golf.
Yeah.
You got to be a finisher.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been great, you know, for his promotions and advertisements in Charlton.
Yeah.
But he hasn't finished the courses on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say that about anybody in the last 5 to 10 years in golf.
Oh, yeah.
Is that since Tiger's demise on the course, our expectations were so great from Tiger.
Yeah.
And to anybody else who came along, we were expecting that we would find that next diamond in the rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so many people on these sports shows have said this is the next great.
Yeah.
This is the next great. You know, I mean, but in every sport we've ever looked at that's an individual sport,
yeah,
that next great is hard to find.
Yeah, it's true.
Because
Yeah.
everybody else was equal
Yeah.
behind the great one.
Yep.
And so now all of a sudden they're doing is just competing against each other every week. And Ricky Fowler falls into that niche.
Yeah.
It's not like a team sport
Yeah.
that goes out and dominates you. If you lose a key component, you can always plug somebody in to fill it in.
Yeah.
But these individuals, I mean, we look at tennis.
Yeah.
Since Serena's had her daughter,
Yep.
we don't even know who's won the tournament since then.
Isn't that true? Yeah.
You know, no one knows who's winning what. No one really cares. You know,
Yeah.
she was finished.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
long as she was on top, people paid attention.
Yeah.
And since she has stepped aside, Charlton, to be a mother, and now she's slowly working her way back,
Yeah.
if she can regain what she once had.
Yeah.
But no one knows who's winning tennis tournaments on the women's side.
Yeah.
We know that Roger Federer is just rolling along,
Yeah.
but it's like in golf. It's a week-to-week thing because nobody's stepping up winning 2-3 consecutive tournaments.
Yeah, we did kind of get spoiled with Tiger. I look at Fowler on yesterday, he shot a 70. Today he came back and shot worse. He shot a 72. And so there's a lot of hope for the younger people. And again, I still see Tiger and Phil. Tiger probably has a good 10 years left in him. Phil maybe a good 5 because Phil's, 5 years older than Tiger. So when you're a young man and you're shooting 70 and 72, a little bit of regression might be more difficult for him coming up. I want to go to one of your favorite golfers, Big C, and that's Watson. And I know he's one of the statesmen of golf. Bubba, people like Bubba. He's a good old boy, would you call him? A nice guy, a family man. People love him. I think he also played out there in the NBA All-Star game when he didn't score any points, but this showed his athleticism. And I wanted to dispel this myth that golfers are not athletes. Now, golf is just a different kind of athletic sport. But you got to be athletic to walk 18 holes, and especially to do it 4 days in a row. Not only did that good old boy walk the 18 holes, he went over and played in the NBA Celebrity All-Star game. So that shows that he's not just a guy that can hit the ball, that he's athletic enough that his money's not just made on the golf course. He has a crossover appeal. And for a lot of older Caucasian men that have just stuck to that one thing, Big C, when you hear of dual sport players, you normally hear of African Americans. Now, I know he's not a pro basketball player, but just talk about his ability to cross over into a different genre, even though he's made millions as a golfer. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, I don't think him walking 18 holes is no big deal, Charlton. The last time I was out digging in my garden, I walked 18 holes several times. Okay, so I'm not amazed by what Bubba's doing, covered 18 holes in any golf. But,
he was trying to win, though, Big Z.
On the real side,
yeah.
Bubba's at home.
Yeah.
He went to the University of Georgia.
Yep.
He's won the Masters twice.
Yeah.
He's basically a self-taught golfer.
Yeah.
his unorthodox swing, and he's also one of the longest drivers on the tour.
Yeah.
And so that is what has kept Bubba on top of the game.
Yeah.
And he won the Riviera when he was down there in the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah.
So, his game is always solid. But when you can play at home in your backyard, which Augusta is for Bubba,
yeah,
he does have a bit of an advantage because he probably plays that course more than any other body on the tour.
Yeah.
So, he can come from behind on this course, Charlton.
Yeah.
He knows it so well, and that's how he's won in the past.
Yeah.
He hasn't always been in the lead.
No.
But on Saturday and Sunday, he knows how to turn the corner and close.
Yeah, he does. And so I really pull for him. I like him a lot. And he shot a 73 on first round. Second round, he improved. He shot a 69 today. And like you said, that good old boy down there, he knows the course. He's also seen a lot. I don't think the pressure will bother him. Of course, I was pulling for guys like Tiger and Phil going into it. But if anyone can win it, I want to see, whoever wins it earns it. But it's good to see that good guys can finish top, on the top, and that's always well said. And so congratulations to Bubba, at least being able to go down there in his own neck of the woods and see what he can do. Last guy I want to pull up before I get your thoughts on a few other things. I look at Vijay Singh. Vijay, when you look at him, he's a calm guy. You don't know if Vijay's excited or not. Even when Vijay has been a winner on the course, Big C, he's so steady. He doesn't really let his emotions show. And it's good to pull for good guys. And Vijay's one of the good guys out there as well. Obviously, he's probably not going to club close to winning. But as a person, when you look at he and Tiger, and oftentimes, whether it's fair or not, they're looked at as the people of color that are out there on the golf course and doing good things. He shot a 71 on day one. Second round, he shot 74, so he regressed a little bit. But as a statesman to the game, he's sturdy, Big C. He may not have the championships like a Tiger or a Phil, but he's still great for the game of golf. And also, when we look at the color line, he's one of the more prominent golfers out there that really has become a household name, Big C. Your thoughts on the great Vijay Singh?
Well, Vijay's been around for a long time, Charlton.
Yeah.
And, to him, because he has an exempt, that's what allows him to play.
Yeah.
He's not going to compete for the title here at Augusta.
No.
But, to have a guy who's won in the past, who has that exemption to be able to come out and play and compete.
Yeah.
To have that reminiscence.
Yeah.
That's what's so good for Vijay.
Yeah.
To be able to come out and compete against some of the younger golfers on the tour.
Yeah.
And hope to be able to make the cut. That's what you look at.
Yeah.
To know that your game is not falling off that much.
Yeah.
Vijay is one of those historical golfers.
Yeah.
But he's not a true contender for the title, Charles.
Well, last thing, I would be remiss if I didn't say it. I said he'd be the last guy. But I told you, I'm a Tiger and I'm a Phil guy. Because when golf was at its best, it's like Ali Frazier. It's almost like Mike Tyson in Holyfield when they were doing it. Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hitman Hearns, when they were at the top of the game, that's when boxing was the best. Well, I look at Mickelson, he's 5 over, Tiger's 4 over, and these two guys I pull for. And just to touch on the story that they were talking about going into the tournament, that Tiger and Phil didn't really get along back in the day. They had more of an egotistical relationship where they really didn't like each other, but they were after the same girl. I mean, what man roots for the other guy to get the girl, Big C? And that girl wears a green jacket. So there's a race thing with Tiger and Phil also. Media loves to play up the race and whatever, the black against white issue. Now, there are people who don't like each other and people that do. No matter what your color is, they want the same thing. They want the green jacket. And they're both competitive. So with Phil shooting 70 on the first day, round 2 he shot a 79. That's not like Phil. And even if he and Tiger are not going to be in the top 5, I still want to see them contend because love them or hate them, Big C, they're great for the game of golf, and I want to get your thoughts on how great they are for the game of golf.
Well, Charleston, the greatest thing that they could do would be paired together on Sunday.
Yep.
If they can bring their scores down and get paired together on Sunday, I think that would be great fanfare.
Amazing.
For the golfing universe.
Yeah.
To watch these two competitors over the decades stroll down the final 18 at Augusta together.
Yeah.
There's always memorable things that we want in sports.
Yep.
And we always want to remember our heroes when they were the best. It's hard to imagine the demise of a professional athlete.
Yeah.
That they're not the guy that they were when they were dominating a sport.
Yeah.
But, that time comes and goes for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you look at, is that you have to appreciate the time that you have with great athletes.
Yep.
But you also have to respect the time that it's time for them to move on.
Yeah.
And you can always hold them in your fanfare and dreams.
Yeah.
But there's always that young athlete that's coming along, Charlton, that's built to carry the torch.
Yeah, that's true. And so hopefully Tiger and Phil will live up to that billing. We know they've made the golf game what it is over the last several years. I'd say the last 10, 15 years at least. And I'm just hoping that they can find that spark again, so that when they're on the golf course, they don't look like a guy that stayed too long. And so I really pull for those two. I think they're great for the game of golf. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. And for every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports, whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, a high school team, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. When you reach out to them, let them know Big C sent you at 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. I love the MMA, Big C. And I love when a guy can get into the octagon, and women too. I'm a little bit easier watching guys do that. But when I know, and what you talked about happened so soon, I look at Conor McGregor, and I look at the knucklehead behavior that he displayed, throwing, I guess it wasn't a bar stool, some type of a metal object into a bus full of other MMA fighters. We know he and Dana White don't get along. He got stripped of his title because he's not fighting. We know he took the money versus Floyd Money Mayweather, and he lost a lot of that energy that would drive him to fight again. What a stupid thing to do, Big C. What's in the mind of someone who just had the biggest fight of his life, made more money in one night than he'll ever make the rest of his life collectively? Why has he lost his mind, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that's probably the last paycheck he'll ever get for fighting also. Because if you cross Dana White, you're not coming back into the MMA.
Yep.
He controls it. It's his baby. The fight he had with Mayweather, you can look at the antics that he was carrying prior to the fight, Charlton.
Yeah.
The profanity spewing. And so I don't see why the media is amazed by Conor McGregor's actions. They perpetuated him being a butthead.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, we never saw professional boxers behave like Conor McGregor did.
No.
When you talk about a street thug, ghetto, that's what Conor McGregor did, all through the Mayweather promotions.
Yeah.
If the media was expecting for Mayweather to behave like McGregor did.
Yeah.
But because he was white and spewing profanities all the time, they said, well, they gave him a pass.
Yep.
But anybody else being a minority, think about how the media would have looked at him.
Yeah.
So what they're getting from Conor McGregor now is what the media built up to the Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
It's almost like what we have as the president. I don't know why people think and are surprised on a daily basis by his actions and what he does.
Yeah.
You elected a game show host, okay?
Yeah.
That's what you did to run the country.
Yeah.
So he's running the show like The Apprentice. And when people sit up and say the things that they say about him, they can't believe what he's doing and being odd. All you got to do is go watch an old clip of The Apprentice when he was on there.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
No. Well, I want to ask you this thing, because I know I got a professional football player that called me today, an ex-player, and he played for the 49ers, and he gave me a call today. Charlton, how's it going? But he wanted to ask me about my thoughts of the tragic happening in Sacramento, where the young African-American man was shot at 22 times by law enforcement, okay? And obviously lost his life in his grandmother's backyard. And I had a very frank conversation with him. He happened to be a Caucasian guy, and he asked me, what do I think it's going to take to end this stuff? Well, I just pointed out to him, what did Conor McGregor just do on videotape? That was on camera. He assaulted people by picking up something metal and heavy and threw it at the bus window. And he wasn't handcuffed. They got to him eventually. They didn't beat him up. They didn't throw him on the ground and shoot him. They didn't do anything but say, well, we got to find out what's going on with Connor. Now, I'm not saying they're two the same, but I'm saying the way law enforcement treated one over the other. One guy was totally innocent, did nothing wrong, and he lost his life. Here's a man who's very wealthy and did something so egregious and even did it on tape. He wasn't beaten up by law enforcement. He wasn't choked out and caused resisting arrest. They're treating it like we got to find out what's wrong with him so we can get him some help. Do you see this? And he said, well, yeah, I never really looked at it that way. Big C, do you see how we're just treated differently in society? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, for our West Coast listeners, flying here to Atlanta today,
yeah,
I was able to see the nightly news on NBC.
Yeah.
And there was an incident that happened at a home during the daytime on the West Coast, okay?
Yeah.
Where shots were fired. Police officers surrounded the house. They returned fire, okay? They eventually cornered this Caucasian man in the backyard, okay, as he said he was giving up.
Yeah.
They asked him to walk backwards towards him with his hands behind his head. Just keep walking back. They didn't shoot him. They cuffed him up, took him to jail. They never felt that he was a threat, even though he had fired rounds at them.
Wow.
They chose not to end his life. They chose to take him to jail.
Yeah.
So when people say, how can this end, it starts with police.
Yeah.
And honestly, it does. The toughest job in America.
Yeah.
But you also have to have some social and sensitivity training.
Yeah.
Is that every black person that you shoot is not a threat to you.
Yep.
Now, when I saw this on the news tonight, and I hope that the listeners, it's not too late for them to get the NBC Nightly News. If not, go Google it. Pull it up on the internet. You can pull up tonight's segment.
Yeah.
Where this man lived after shooting at the police officers. He was white, though, Charlton.
Yeah. Yeah.
In his backyard.
Yeah.
Not his grandmother's, in his backyard. The police allowed him the opportunity to give himself up.
Yeah.
They coaxed him into it. They didn't just start shooting when he came around the corner. They just say, hey, just follow these instructions.
Wow.
That's where everybody is not getting the same justice.
Yeah.
The injustice flows is, hey, he's a threat. I felt threatened. He's down on the ground. I think he's going for a gun.
Yeah.
Let me shoot him 3 times in the chest.
Yeah.
He's got a cell phone in his hand. I think it's a gun. Let's shoot him 20 times.
Yeah.
He's in the intersection with his pants down by his ankle. He's charging me. I'm 30 feet away. I'm going to shoot him to death. This is what we have to look at.
Yeah.
And I understand that white society can't understand it.
It doesn't happen to him.
It's like any other portion of history that we've lived through as minorities in America.
Yeah.
When whites say they can't understand it. You look at slavery, where it started.
Yeah.
Where blacks were being abused. And whites said, well, I can't understand how they feel that they're being abused. We're feeding them.
Yeah.
We're letting them sleep at night. No,
Yep.
you weren't.
Yeah.
Even after slavery, Charlton, when whites were killing and lynching blacks in America.
Yeah.
For sport. And people say, well, people are making this up. It's not occurring. Because they didn't have news cameras.
Yeah.
Whites behaved rampantly against blacks throughout history in America.
Yeah.
Not until the newsreels came along where you got a chance to see it on TV, mainly in 1961 through 63, when you started seeing how blacks are being abused by whites.
Yeah.
You can always go into old newsreels, black and white,
Yeah.
and see that. And ask yourself, what are these black people doing wrong? Sitting at a lunch counter.
Yeah.
Walking down the street.
Yeah.
Not bothering anybody, but being attacked, trying to get into a school to improve their education.
Yeah.
Being attacked, being spit on, being hit, having rocks thrown at you. So, this has become a hatred issue. And if whites were attacked
Yeah.
by blacks the way that they have attacked blacks, think about the social outcry that it would be.
Yeah.
You know that these people are ghoulish. You know, think about the names that they would call blacks.
It already
They
happened.
would call them animals. They would
Yeah.
call them ghouls. They would call them thugs. If they behave like white America has toward the black race in America.
Yeah, and I think, and again, I think everybody who at least asked the question, but I think it's kind of a bizarre question, where for white Americans that know the history of slavery and Jim Crow, and how the fight for civil rights was an effort that black Americans made, I have a lot of white American brethren that will ask me, so how do we fix this? I didn't grow up in a white household where I heard sometimes the grandparents or parents having such enmity against people of color. The new enmity now is against Mexican Americans. The old enmity was against African Americans. But before African Americans, the enmity was against Native Americans. So sometimes it's like asking a woman, how do you stop men from assaulting women? And they put the onus on the woman, and we know this happens.
Well, look at this, Charlton.
Yeah.
I'm listening to the president yesterday in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Saying that all the Hispanics, he calls them Mexicans, and it wasn't the Mexicans, it's Hispanics coming from South America, Guatemala,
Yeah.
and other countries, Charlton.
Yeah.
He said these people are rapists coming into America. Now, when we look on the news all the time, who are the rapists in America that they see every night?
Yep.
That we see on trial every night. We see swimmers from Stanford that are white.
Been fired from their jobs at NBC. Matt Lauer.
Been fired from their jobs at Fox,
Yeah.
NBC, major directors in Hollywood.
Weinstein.
We see on the news basically every night white rapists in America. But the president acts like there are no rapists that are born here in America.
Yep.
He said that they're all coming from South American countries. So he's building this level of racism
And no one checks him
in
on
the
it.
White House
Yeah.
without evidence,
Yep.
without proof, but his base believes it. And if you look at his base, I guarantee you, 1 out of 4 of them know somebody who's raped somebody.
They say it happens. Sexual assault happens like every 20 seconds, and no one challenges POTUS on that. And so, and you're down south. I'm out here on the West Coast. You know, you guys make fun of us. You say everything goes on the West Coast, and we think a lot of the good old boys down south, people are they're just more clandestine about their bigotry now. But I'm not going to say everybody is. We know our country's made a lot of progress. But I would like to ask my white brethren, almost everyone that I've met that talked to me about what happened with the kid being, murdered by law enforcement up here in Sacramento, they asked me, so Charlton, what do you think is the solution? How can we stop this?
Stop shooting them. That's the solution.
Yeah, well,
that's not the solution, Charlton.
Yeah.
You have to stop shooting them.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, there was a time, and this time was in America before 1994, okay?
Yeah.
After the Rodney King beating, police started killing people.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to go on trial anymore.
Yep.
They told the world that Rodney King was a threat to them, that he was attacking them.
Yeah.
He was constantly going after. He was trying to get their guns. He wouldn't listen. He wouldn't get down on the ground.
Yeah.
Every time you hit the guy, the pain hit him, so he moved.
Yeah.
Every time you tased him, he had involuntary movement.
Yeah.
But they proved that the video that the world saw of this atrocious beating, that it lied. That,
Yeah.
The video was wrong.
Yeah.
What they saw was not actually what was occurring because they didn't see what happened before the video started. Well, it didn't make a difference. You had 12 cops beating a guy. We saw that. That was evidence enough.
Yeah. Well,
but at that point, they said we can no longer go through this thing of pulling somebody over and just being cordial with them.
Yeah.
If we feel any threat, just kill him. And all we got to do is say that we felt fear.
Yeah.
And if he's not alive, he cannot dispute it.
Yeah.
Everybody can't get their video camera out fast enough. Even though we've seen guys get shot in their car with their girlfriend and child in the car, trying to pass an officer his ID.
Yeah.
An officer still shoots him.
Yeah.
We've seen many incidents on television, but every one of those have been discredited.
Yeah.
Because the officer said he felt in fear of his life.
Yeah.
That's all he has to do to kill somebody.
Yeah.
To say, I felt in fear in my life.
And
so when I looked at this incident on the news today, Charlton,
yeah,
of this white man shooting back at the police, okay, with a gun.
In California?
And they let him live.
Was it California?
Dylan Booth. It's in California, on the West Coast. Dylan Booth, when he shot up the church in South Carolina 2 years ago, he had a gun in his car when the police pulled him over.
Yeah.
They let him live. The killer at Stoneman Douglas High School goes in and shoots and kills 17 people and injures dozens of others. They let him live. They have something in common, Charlton. They're white. The officers are white. So they don't fear what they look like.
Yeah. And obviously, when we saw the Rodney King trial, and again, this is a white football player asking me that's played with black athletes in high school and college and also in the NFL for a couple of teams, asking me what's the solution. So I would like to ask all of my white brethren, the ones that care, not the ones who think, hey, maybe the guy deserved it. And I've heard some of those knuckleheads too. But I want to ask them, what is the solution to have this stop on the side of the mainstream? That's a conversation that should not just be left up to African Americans to solve, and I hope we can have that information, and I hope we'll have that dialogue. So I will Google what happened out here in the West Coast because it's very gripping when you bring it up. Big C, I do want to close. You know, we talked about the Masters, and obviously looking forward to the weekend, looking forward to seeing what happens with Tiger, seeing what happens with Phil. Can McIlroy mount a comeback, or will it be Spieth, or will it be some newcomer? You know, it'd be great just to see that challenge down to the 18th where somebody's tied, and not necessarily a playoff. I don't like the playoff in golf. I like it to be settled on the 18th. So hopefully we'll see that. But for the NBA, we've already had playoff behavior. In the Eastern Conference, Toronto's number one, followed by Boston, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Indiana, Miami, and then Milwaukee. Detroit's on the outside looking in. Western Conference, Houston, Golden State, Portland, Utah, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, New Orleans. But Denver and the Clippers are just about a game or two out, and we have just a few games left. I believe Wednesday is the final game of regular season for NBA. I'm going to ask your thoughts on what's intriguing to you about any of the teams on the outside looking in, whether it's going to be someone like Denver and a Clippers team, or would it be Detroit? Detroit really seems to be out of it. They're 2.5 back on the East. But Denver or the Clippers, your thoughts on who could challenge New Orleans and even Oklahoma City? These guys got to win every game, it seems, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, Denver might be the biggest challenge if they make it in. They have a lot of young talent that has played well in spurts this year.
Yeah.
You know, but the struggling thing about getting into the playoffs late, Charlton, is you expend so much energy.
Yeah.
Is that you really have nothing left. You made that last run, the last week or two of the season, like it's your playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's what happens is you try to keep that emotion running, Charlton.
Yeah.
That got you there into that AC.
Yeah.
And you spend too much energy because now you got to go play the number one seed.
Yeah.
For a series.
Yeah.
Not one game, but for a series. So you got to go out and beat them 3 or 4 times, Charlton.
Yeah.
To win.
Yeah.
And so you generally don't have anything left when you're the eighth seed because you've expended so much energy getting to that position, Charlton.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. And we love seeing that push. Last night, Portland, their second head-to-head contest with Houston, and the game came down to the wire again. Houston got a 2-point win at home. We talked about them maybe, you know, a candle, once it burns bright at the top, it starts to melt, and the fuse starts to get down to the wick. And Houston right now, they played so hard last night to hold off Portland, and Portland's playing hard to just show that they belong. And I know they've kind of been owned by Houston the last couple of games, but that was a good contest last night, the way Damian Lillard plays. Also, a game that went down to the wire. I look at how Cleveland and LeBron James against John Wall and them good boys from Washington. Washington's a good team. So is Cleveland. Both teams are going to most likely make the playoffs. But what I saw last night, when the game was on the line, I know Wall was rusty, but he threw a pass that was picked off. Has that rest hurt him, or will it help him going down the stretch? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I think that rest and him coming back hurts Washington.
Yeah.
They had such cohesiveness when Wall was out of the lineup.
Yeah.
But he has that superstar mentality and not knowing how to work himself back into the lineup.
Yeah.
Instead of being willing to take the role as a 6th or 7th man for his team to give them that firepower coming off the bench, he wants to be put back in the lineup.
Yeah.
And at this day and age with great athletes, that's the worst thing that you can do. If the players missed half the season, all of a sudden say, no, he's a starter.
Yeah.
No, but you got to look as a coach and management that the team has played better without him.
Yeah.
So why break up that chemistry?
Yeah.
When the shots are spread out more evenly,
Yeah.
they're not getting that any longer with him back in the lineup, and so it's hurting him.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, big game on schedule tonight. We have Charlotte 5.5 favorite over Orlando. Detroit and Dallas is even. Washington's favorite over Atlanta. We have Toronto, their favorite by 8 over Indiana. That should be a dynamic matchup. Miami's favorite by 8 over New York. Memphis and Sacramento. Memphis will be a slight favorite, but the Kings might win that one. New Orleans favorite by 10.5 over Phoenix. And the Lakers and Minnesota, there's no point spread on that one. That should be a game that Minnesota you would think would win. But I want to close out with a game that has all of the markings for playoff contention. When you look at Philadelphia at home versus Cleveland, Cleveland had a tough game last night. And you look at Philadelphia, they've been on a winning streak. That streak may come to an end tonight at home, but it may not. I look at both teams. If they're healthy, we know Embiid's not going to be a factor. But LeBron James, he has to rise to the occasion again. But doing that Philly may not be as easy as people think. That's why your friends down in Vegas that picked Tiger to win the Masters also picked Philadelphia by 3 tonight. Do you think that's fool's gold, Big C, or would you go with the Philly, Big C? Your thoughts?
No, this is a game that's a prelude to what's occurring in the playoffs, Charlton.
Yeah.
This is a game that if Philadelphia wins, that has to put fear in the heart of Cleveland. I know everybody says once the playoffs start, LeBron is different.
Yeah.
He may be.
Yeah.
But it's those other 12 guys that are they different?
Yeah.
They don't all have LeBron's makeup.
Yeah.
And when you look at Philadelphia, you got all these young players saying, we have a chance now to make history.
Yeah.
To take LeBron out of the playoffs, to take him out of the finals.
Yeah.
They could be facing each other in a few weeks, Dalton.
Wow.
And so this is not like that situation that we see that Toronto always succumbs to the pressure of playing Cleveland.
Yeah.
Philadelphia said, hey, the ball is all in our court.
Yeah.
We cannot buckle under all this pressure right now.
Yeah, well, I tell you, there's something in the water in Philadelphia. It's not the Philadelphia cheesesteak. You ever eat one of those thick cheesesteaks that gives you heartburn, Big C? It can't be that that's making the moonshine flow so well up in Philadelphia. Going to be a playoff environment tonight. A game I can't wait to see. We know the Masters going into the weekend. Really looking forward to that. But Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bandini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you've got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charlton, I'm looking just forward to some sunshine and some moonshine down in Augusta, Georgia this week.
Yeah.
I plan on getting down there early in the morning.
Yeah.
Setting up my little pup chair.
Yep.
Got my little sip.
Yep.
Got my sunglasses and my binoculars.
Yeah.
And we'll see which one falls off first.
Hey, Big C, do a toast to Phil and do a toast to Tiger. Have them play more relaxed coming down the stretch. And speaking of coming down the stretch, you can always come down the stretch every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide when you follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage all on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.